Greetings, welcome back to Black Bear News, where we are discussing the ongoing situation surrounding climate change, abrupt climate change, the impending sixth mass extinction. And for all of you conspiracy-minded folks, you're going to have to do a little better. You're going to have to bring some evidence. This isn't, you can't just go with stuff you made up in your brain or stuff that somebody else said and it sounded good to you. Oh yeah. That must be what they're doing. Evidence, evidence, evidence. That is what it's all about. Some conspiracies are true because they are supported by evidence. This particular conspiracy around climate change not being real, or not being a hoax, or being natural, or being blah, 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 there's not enough evidence to support it. I'm sorry, there just isn't. The evidence supporting actual ongoing climate change is overwhelming and mountainous. You cannot counter it with one little like, oh, but this report, they said they fudged the number. One scientist said that he did another math equation and it was totally off. No, that's not, I'm sorry, it's not enough. You're gonna have to do better, guys, I'm sorry. And as for this channel, we will continue to bring you the mountains and mountains and mountains of evidence surrounding climate change and how dire the situation is. And this is the first step in trying to actually do something about it. If we are going to do something about it, if we have any of the capabilities of doing something about it, the first step is actually understanding that this is what's going on and that the situation is very dire. I want to bring you two things before I talk too long in this video. Two very, very frightening things surrounding the fires in California. And this is from Physicians for Social Responsibility Los Angeles .org. And a few people brought this to my attention. What's crazy is that I heard this like 3 days ago just from somebody, a stranger, that I overheard talking about this situation, and I was like, huh? Anyway, so massive Woolsey Fire began on contaminated Santa Susana field laboratory close to site of partial meltdown. Electric substation at SSFL tripped 2 minutes before fire reported. The tremendously destructive Woolsey Fire has been widely reported as beginning near the Santa Susana Field Laboratory, or SSFL, or Rocketdyne, but it appears that the fire began on the Rocketdyne property itself. CAL FIRE identifies the fire location as E Street and Alpha Road, a location that is in fact on SSFL. It was recently reported that the Chatsworth electric substation experienced a disturbance 2 minutes before the fire was reported, but that substation is in fact on SSFL near the location. Photograph posted on Twitter from KCAL9 Stu Mundell shows the fire starting Thursday afternoon near the same location, which is only about 1,000 yards away from the site of the 1959 partial nuclear meltdown of the sodium reactor experiment reactor, the SRE reactor. Okay. The location of the smoke plume and fire above from the above photo is shown in the pre-fire Google Earth image below. A report filed with the California Public Utilities Commission by Southern California Edison states that the Chatsworth Substation suffered an outage at 2:22 p.m. Thursday, 2 minutes before the Woolsey Fire is reported to have begun. The Chatsworth Substation is located within the larger Boeing Rocketdyne Santa Susana complex, according to the CPUC document. The electrical substation marked with a pin in the photo above and a circle in the photos below and enlarged in the last photo is a few hundred yards to the west of where the fire is shown in the Thursday aerial photo as starting. A few hundred yards to the east of the SRE complex where the reactor suffered its accident. The substation has been built in part to provide electricity from the reactor, which is the first reactor to produce commercial electricity for the commercial grid, but before it became the first such commercial reactor to suffer a partial meltdown. Wow, Though we must wait for the fire authorities to conclude their investigation, it is ironic that an electric substation built for a reactor that melted down 6 decades ago may now be associated with a catastrophic fire that began on the SSFL site that is still badly contaminated from that accident and numerous other spills and releases, said Denise Duffold, Associate Director of Physicians for Social Responsibility, Los Angeles. CAL FIRE maps indicate that much of SSFL is within the fire boundaries. Decades of nuclear and rocket engine testing activity, including nuclear reactor accidents and other toxic spills and releases, have resulted in widespread contamination throughout SSFL's 2,850 acre facility. Federally funded studies indicate higher cancer incidence associated with proximity to the site. The California Department of Toxic Substances Control, which has regulatory oversight over the parties responsible for cleaning up the contamination, the Department of Energy, NASA, and the Boeing company, signed legally binding agreements to fully clean up the contamination by 2017. However, the cleanup has not even begun. Of course, this is just business as usual. And DTSC is considering vastly weaker cleanup plans. If DTSC and those responsible for polluting SSFL had not broken their cleanup commitments, we wouldn't be facing the prospect of contamination now being driven off site by the fire. I'm going to read this quote and then I'm going to link this article below. I'm going to move on. The Woolsey Fire likely released and spread radiological and chemical contamination that was in SSFL soil and vegetation via smoke and ash, said Dr. Bob Dodge, president of Physicians for Social Responsibility, Los Angeles. All wildfire smoke can be hazardous to health, but if SSFL had been cleaned up long ago, as DTSC promised, we'd at least not have to worry about exposure to dangerous radionuclides and chemicals as well. Big problems. Big problems, y'all. And this is happening all over the place. We are wholesale destroying the planet. We are wholesale, hand over fist, contaminating, polluting, destroying the planet. And that is the thing. Also, my dear fellow conspiracy theorists, that you cannot account for. You can try and be like, they're doing these things, but you cannot counteract the argument that human beings are just destroying the planet as fast as they possibly can. That's just a fact. That's just concrete, solid fact. And that's a problem. That's why we have these problems. It's very simple cause and effect. We are here polluting, doing stuff, stripping the planet of resources, and the planet is going, ouch, over here. Stop doing that. Very simple. That was about as simple as I could put it. I'm going to move on to this article from the New York Post. This is all over the place, actually, too. Woman warned about sparks from power lines day before deadly wildfire. A woman in Northern California said Monday that the Pacific Gas and Electric Company contacted her about sparks in power lines on her property one day before the deadly wildfire in Paradise began. Betsy Ann Cowley said the power company emailed her on Wednesday and warned that they were having problems with the sparks and needed access to her property in the small town of Pulga. On Thursday, the wildfire started near Pulga and incinerated the neighboring town of Paradise. A total of 42 people have been declared dead from the blaze. Cowley said she was on vacation when she received the email. The company visited her home Wednesday, but she was not aware of what their conclusion was. Earlier Monday, PG&E said it experienced a problem on an electrical transmission line near the site of the massive fire minutes before the blaze broke out. California authorities have launched a probe targeting PG&E to assess the compliance and electrical facilities with applicable rules and regulations in fire-impacted areas. So that's a weird story. There's probably more details to that, I'm sure. But I'm already, I've seen people kind of say stuff about, PG&E is taking the fall for the fire or whatever. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what's going on there exactly? But I'm going to link that article below, and I am going to just mention this one more article in this video, slightly unrelated from fires, but still in the climate change realm. This is from Bloomberg. Trump backs wood power. Scientists call dirtier than coal. The Trump administration endorsed burning trees and other biomass to produce energy on Thursday, vowing to promote a practice some scientists have declared more environmentally devastating than coal-fired power. The Environmental Protection Agency joined the Departments of Energy and Agriculture in a letter to congressional leaders committing to encourage the use of biomass as an energy solution. The EPA also reasserts its view that power plants burning trees and other woody materials to generate electricity should be viewed as carbon neutral, because when the plants eventually regrow, they remove carbon dioxide from the air. Oh my God. The absolute idiocy and buffoonery that is the Trump administration, especially around climate change and around the destruction of the environment. I'm going to end this video here. I wanted to quickly thank those who have contributed to this channel. I really appreciate it. Your contributions help me create more content and hopefully better content. And so I just wanted to give you a big shout out. Thank you so much. If you would like to contribute to this channel, you can do so at the links below. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. Until next time, peace.